Today's lesson is over scatter plots and trend lines. The first thing we need to learn about is what is a correlation. A correlation is a relationship between two sets of data. All right? Well, somebody turn on my front light for videoing. Types of correlation. Well, you have one that looks like this. Just random plots this way. And this is going to be a positive. Because it's going in the positive direction. Okay? Now, with a positive correlation, let's look at it. When the x values increase, the y values increase. Okay? So look, as x is getting bigger, y is getting bigger, correct? Because as it's going this way, your y is getting larger, right? Because if you come out here and here, does that make sense? As x increases, y increases, that's going to give you a positive correlation. Okay, if you have one that looks like this. I don't even know if you can really see that here. Okay. This is negative. As the x values increase, the y values what? Decrease. Okay? So there's only going to be three types of correlation. You have a positive correlation, a negative correlation, and then the last one is if there are points all over the place, it is no correlation. It's positive, it's negative, or it's no correlation. All right, so let's go on and let's figure out what is a trend line. Okay, a trend line is a line that closely fits the data in a scatter plot. Okay, the trend line is a line that closely fits the data in a scatter plot. Characteristics. Okay, the characteristics of a trend line is must be as close to each data point as possible. It has to have the same number of data points below and above the line. Now what I'm going to do right here in parentheses, I'm going to write about. The reason I'm going to write about is because if you are drawing a trend line and you have 9 points above it and 10 points below it, okay, it is still okay. Does that make sense? I don't want you to try to figure out where you get 9.5 on one side and 9.5 on the other, okay? I need roughly the even number on top and bottom, okay? And then the last thing is the trend line needs to go through at least 2 data points and underline the y-axis. It needs to go through 2 data points and under the y-axis. Okay, so over here I make little notes. All right, so I put must. So I just shorten these up. Go through 2 points. So when we're talking about this in class, these are what I want you to call out to me, not full definitions, okay? So go through 2 points. Go through y-axis. And the last one, have same number of points above and below the trend line. Okay? So, when I say, okay, so what are the 3 characteristics of a trend line? You're going to say, it must go through 2 points. It must go through the y-axis. and it must have the same number of points above and below the trend line. That's it. That's all we need to know about a trend line. Are y'all good with that? Okay. Now it says find the equation of the trend line. What we're going to do is if they give us the trend line and they say find the equation of the trend line, we're going to use the 2 points on, we're going to use 2 points on the trend line and find slope. What's the formula for slope? Rise over run, but you use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. My phone's really shaking. Okay, then we're going to find the y-intercept. Where's the y-intercept located? On the y-axis. Great job. Okay, and then we're going to use the slope m and y-intercept b to plug into the equation what? Y'all can say it. Y equals. Okay. That's it. So what it is, essentially, it's giving you a point on a scatter plot. You're going to take 2 of the points that are on my line. Are y'all with me? You're going to take 2 of those points. You're going to find the slope. You're going to see where it crosses the y-axis, and you're going to plug in the m, plug in the b, and you're done. That's it. Okay? All right. So let's flip it over. Okay, it says activity, scatter plot, and trends. Complete the statements. Questions. I just have question 1 attached. The graph below represents the amount of commission Kim earns from selling tennis shoes to sporting goods stores. Okay? We have commission in dollars, and then we have sales. So, what we're going to do here is I want you, when you are given a scatter plot, anytime you're given a scatter plot, you must draw the trend line first. Must draw the trend line first. Okay? That's a star right there. Now, what are the 3 characteristics of a trend line that I just told you?
Positive,
No, those are your correlations. What are the 3 characteristics of a trend line? Okay, say it again. Hold on. Say it again.
Go through 2 points.
Okay.
Go through the y-axis and have the same number above and below the trend line.
Okay, now why am I saying you have to have the same number of lines above and below? Do you think it'd be okay to make a trend line down here?
No.
What about up here? No, because what is a trend line? It's a line that goes, average kind of, it's a line that goes through the middle of the data, right? It's a line that goes through the center of the data. So what I do is I kind of look at this and say, okay, I'm going to pick this point and that point, all right? And now I'm going to create a trend line with those. And I'm pretty sure I'm pretty close to the center here. All right. You can use a note card or you can just draw a line. Whatever you prefer. That looks average. Look, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 below. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, look. Almost perfect. 4 and 4. Okay? Now, the first question says, now let me tell you that a scatter plot, y'all, the reason you have to draw a trend line in the scatter plots is because you have to make predictions off of this, okay? So now what I would do is, let's say they say, okay, for 10,000 sales, how much money did she get? Well, you'd go to 10,000 sales. You don't stop on the dot. You stop on the trend line. So to get $10,000 in sales, she would earn about $500 commission. So you make predictions off the trend line. Are y'all with me? That's why you want it in the center of your data. You want it to go through the y-axis, and you want it to go through at least 2 points. All right. Kim will earn $800 commission when she sells blank in tennis shoes. How much money in tennis shoes does she have to sell to make $800 of commission? Well, okay. So you go to 800 on commission, correct? You're going to go all the way across until you hit the trend line. We're coming down, and it says 16,000. Okay? Because, look, this is in thousands of dollars. When Kim sells 14,000 in tennis shoes, she will earn blank in commission. So we go to 14, we go up. Oh, look, and it hits right on, so it's $700 in commission. As the sales of tennis shoes increases, the blank increases. Commission. The graph represents blank correlation. Positive. Okay, so the few things I need you to remember is this. There's 3 types of correlation: positive, negative, and no correlation. Okay? A trend line helps you make predictions on a scatter plot. So anytime you see a scatter plot, you must draw your trend line. Your trend line must do what? Have 2 points.
Have the same amount of points on above and below.
Must have the same amount of points above and below, and must go through the y-axis. Thank you.